Don't be mad. I always wanted to do this. Make it rain! Where's the 20s?
Good morning, kind people of the internet. I just finished this book, the Wayne Shorter biography. It's called Footprints, The Life and Work of Wayne Shorter, and it's by Michelle Mercer. And I think, first of all, I would say if I was stuck on a desert island and I could only listen to 3 musicians, it would be Wayne Shorter, Stevie Wonder, and then probably a classical composer, although I'm not sure which one it would be. I don't know enough about classical music, but I know that I really like it. But I would need to spend some time to figure out which composer was my favorite. But those are the 3. Wayne Shorter, for me, he was someone that took a little bit of time to really get into. He wasn't really one of my favorite players when I was younger, or like when I was first getting into music, maybe because of the complexity. It's maybe a little bit harder to get into when you're first checking out music and checking out different players. But at some point, he just became, to me, when I hear him, one of the most moving improvisers that I hear now. And I think a lot of that has to do with how original and in the moment all of his music is. It's just like everything he plays is a surprise, and it always just keeps me on my toes. I've been able to see him live twice now, and the first concert, I will definitely never forget that. It was crazy. The feeling that I had afterwards was something that I had never experienced before from hearing music. But I was just like overwhelmed with this sense of love, I guess I could say, where basically I wanted to go around and like hug everybody that was in the audience after the concert. It was very bizarre, but so that was my first experience hearing him live, and then I went up and then heard another concert a few years after that. But if you're not familiar with Wayne Shorter, definitely maybe just check out his Wikipedia page and just to get a sense of all of the things that he's done. He's released a bunch of albums on his own, but he's toured and recorded with so many other people that you may be surprised to know about. So like he started out his career playing with Art Blakey, then he played with Miles Davis, then Weather Report, and then played with Santana and then a lot of other people. And then he, for the past maybe about almost 20 years, he's toured with his own quartet. And he's done, of course, so much music, but I'm not really that interested in reading about musical stuff, especially when the author starts, like, I guess, trying to figure out the meaning that she found in his solos. To me, that's not really that interesting because I guess I always think of all of the music as just this sort of like abstract thing that you can't really explain in words, and it's maybe not worth trying. I don't know. I don't think everybody would feel that way, but that's kind of how I feel about it. But the one thing I really did like about the book was how they got into Wayne's study of Buddhism and what kind of led him down that path. Because he did a lot of, I guess, sort of internal spiritual development, you could say, throughout his career. And it's really interesting to hear about the points, like sort of the turning points that he had with that, because he faced a lot of tragedy. He faced a lot of death in his family of people really close to him. Then he also struggled with alcohol, and just a lot of crazy things were happening in his life. And so trying to get like a little bit of his mindset on things that to me was the most interesting stuff. I mean, the music, I think, speaks for itself. I would rather go listen to a bunch of his albums than read about, the personnel or all of that. Although it is kind of nice to get like a sideman's viewpoint on playing his gig sometimes, and just to get that experience. Because the quotes from Wayne, a lot of times he won't be super direct, and he doesn't really like to always answer a question exactly, but he'll maybe answer in a more roundabout way and become a little bit more philosophical, and just because that's where his brain always sort of is, I guess. So if you're not familiar with Wayne Shorter, I would say maybe check out his music first, and then if you want to learn more a little bit about like behind the scenes in terms of music and putting together bands and touring, and when groups started and ended and how he got involved with certain musicians, then come to this book. But if you've never really heard the music, I would say start with the music first. But the book is a very good companion to the music. So next week, next Sunday is the last Sunday of November. And for that book day, I will be doing Lincoln's Melancholy by Joshua Wolfshank. And I am a few pages into this, and the writing style is very cool. And so far, the Lincoln's early stories is like very interesting to me. And so I'm excited to like really delve into this more and learn a lot about Lincoln in that time period, but what he was going through. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.